Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started with Lab 17 here. So as usual, you can follow along with me or you can work at your own pace, and I'll come around to ask questions here in just a little bit. Alright. So one thing that I have noticed you guys have been neglecting to do recently has been putting your title block information in down at the bottom. That does lose you a couple of points when that happens, but something I noticed when I've been grading recently is that a lot of you haven't been doing that. So make sure you get your name, lab, and class number or hour and class put in to start with. Alright, so today we're going to be working on Lab 17, which is this one here. Unlike the previous lab, I do not want you to double the sizes. So all of the measurements you're going to use are the measurements that are on the drawing to start with. Okay. As always, I'm going to start off with starting from my lowest corner right here and then drawing the box the whole shape will fit in. I'm going to start at the bottom edge of the pluses that make up the lower center marks. This is because last time we ran off the page. Even though that's not a possibility with a shape at this size, I still want to get in the habit of not creating potential problems moving forward. So if we look at our drawing, the shape is 2 inches wide. It is 1.25 inches deep, but the overall height's a little harder to figure out. It's 5/8 on the top block and 5/8 at the lower block. If you add those together, you get 10/8, which is the same as 1.25 inches, right? So the side view on this is going to end up being 1.25 inches square if you were to do the 3-view drawings for this. And even though that's not the assignment for you guys today, you guys are to just do the isometric view. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the entire drawing as if I was doing the isometric and the 3 views. So we'll start off with the isometric since that's the part that you're interested in right now. In order to achieve this, my isometric view is going to fit within this quadrant of the paper. You can choose to put yours in this quadrant or you can choose to put it in the center. So I'm going to line up my parallel rule with the top of the center of the paper plus, and I'm going to put the starting point for the shape roughly 1/4 of the distance between the center mark and this edge of the paper. Doesn't have to be perfect, but close as you can get without actually measuring. So that's going to be my lower point when I put the isometric view in the isometric quadrant. Alright, so looking at this, we have a shape that's 2 inches long. Remember, I'm just drawing the box that my shape is going to fit in. It will be 1.25 inches tall. Two inches this way. So this is the plane that makes up the front view. Flip my triangle over. 1.25 inches going this way. And that's the box my isometric shape is going to fit in. Alright, so because it has the most information, as usual, I'm going to start with the front view. And to do that, all I need to know is where to start my center section here. I know that it's a 1/4 inch across on both sides, and it's a 1/4 of an inch tall, so that's an easy enough place to start. I'm going to put 1/4 of an inch there, come this way, mark a 1/4 of an inch. Rotate it so that the short edge of my triangle is on the parallel rule, and draw a 1/4 of an inch line for both sides, and connect. Now while I'm here, I'm also going to go ahead and draw this line right here. I don't know how long it is, but I don't need to. All I need to do is have my triangle in the right orientation and draw the line back until it reaches that spot right there. Okay. The next part I'm going to do is the upper cutouts on both sides. So if I look at this, it's a 1/2 of an inch going in this direction, and it's 5/8 of an inch tall, which is 5/8 inch at the bottom as well. So that's where I'm going to start. On both sides, I'm going to come up 5/8 of an inch from the corners. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make a mark. Do the same thing down here. Make a mark. And then, because it's the same at this back corner as well, I'm going to do it here too. So mark and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those. That's part of the side view done already. Rotate around. I'm going to come in the 1/2 of an inch from this dot. Half of an inch on that side. Connect to the top, which if you were to measure would come out to be 5/8 of an inch. Flip my triangle, and 2 lines to finish the isometric, well actually more than 2 lines to finish the isometric view. So I'm missing 1. So 4 more actually. Let's see here. So let's do this. How many times I can rotate my triangle here. Starting at this dot, we're going to come over 1/2 of an inch. There we go. That'll give us the information we need to finish this up. Oh, and one last thing. This corner over here. Back until it touches the shape. Right, and then that's all of this shape. It's still buried inside of the box that we used to create it, but we'll use the erasing shield and our eraser to quickly fix that part. Oops. Now, as far as the actual requirements for your assignment today, that's basically the end of it. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 view drawings that, I forgot to erase that part. The 3-view drawings that would be required that you can make using this drawing. And while I'm not asking you to do them, if you do decide to, I'll give you a leg up when we start doing this these assignments, starting with Lab 20, which simply enough is finding the 3-view drawings that are buried inside of this shape and replicating them out here in their correct places. So front, right side, and top view. The funny thing is, you've already drawn pretty much all 3 of these views just at the isometric angle. Here we go. So here we go for this. I'm going to start with the front view. And just like I did before, find the box that it fits within. Use this triangle and set it to 5/8 of an inch. Or set 5/8 of an inch on the line, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quarter. Alright, so that's the top and the bottom length. The shape is 2 inches long. Come on. One inch mark here. Oops. Inch mark there. Inch mark there. So let's see here. Okay. Now notice I didn't go up from that center mark line I made, mostly because it's something that I'm going to end up erasing anyway shortly, because that section there and this section here represent these portions here that don't exist on the finished drawing. Use my triangle again and measure across the top. That's interesting. Oh, it's 1 inch across. So finding my center mark there, put 1/2 inch on that, and then I make a mark at 0, make a mark at 1. From those marks, I'm going to come down. The easiest way for me is to put the 5/8 inch mark on here, come down to 1 inch. It'd be the same over here as well. If you haven't noticed yet, it's easier when you're moving your triangle and your parallel around if you set your pencil on the mark that you want it to run up into before moving your measuring implement, because it helps you more accurately place what you're trying, or the instrument that you're moving. Alright, so same deal, 1/4 of an inch over on both sides. Measure up 1/4 of an inch. And connect. So there's our front view. Right side view, like I said, is just going to end up being 1 1/4 inch square. So, to do that, the easiest way is to put 5/8 inch on the center. And go 1 1/4 inch on this side, 1 1/4 inch on that side. Or actually, 1 1/4 inch on one side and 0 on the other. I misspoke. Okay. And Okay. One last thing we need to do for this side is to put the hidden line in that represents this cutout at the bottom. So you come up 1/4 of an inch and make a mark. Across for there. And then erase through your erasing shield to make the hidden line. Clean up your corners. And you have the right-hand side view. The top is going to be very similar. 2 inches by 1.25 inches. And remember, I don't even need to worry about measuring this one for the most part. Just use my measurements from the lower shape that are already in place. I could have done this on the side view too, but I didn't. 1.25 inches is the depth of this shape. So 5/8 again is going to be, here I'm going to use this one because of the bottom of my triangle being rounded like that. So I put 1 5/8 there. I mark it 1 and 2 1/4. Okay. And honestly, other than cleanup, that's really all you have to do to finish the top view. Just those 2 lines if you have the other 3 in place. Everything else about finishing this is erasing. And then some darkening as well. So if we take a look here, I'll pin that down. Erase through the hidden lines that make up that trench on both sides. Make sure I get the right one. There we go. Use the erasing shield, bottom and top. There you go. The isometric view and the 3 views of this particular drawing. There's the stop button. There we go.